In this video, let us try to understand about set case analysis. So this is one of the Synopsis Design Constraint. So till now we have seen so many Synopsis Design Constraint. Now let us try to understand about set case analysis. So here I am going with figure called as Scan D flip-flop. So this is a figure, like this is a flop, this is a multiplexer. So whereas this multiplexer contains two inputs followed by one output and one selection line. So for the two inputs I0 and I1, I0 is connected to D pin and I1 is connected to scan input, whereas selection line is connected to scan enable. And the output of this multiplexer is connected to data pin of the flip-flop. And this is where I'm applying the clock. This is Q, this is Q bar. So case analysis is something, it will look something like this. Set case analysis 1, get pins for mux, SEL is a name. So get pins followed by mux means this is a mux name, followed by SEL is the name of this multiplexer. So before understanding about what is set case analysis, we need to see some of the background of this. So this is how the example of scan D flip-flop will look like. So coming to scan D flip-flop structure, a scan D flip-flop is basically a 2:1 multiplexer followed by D flip-flop. You can see here, this is 2:1 multiplexer followed by this is D flip-flop. And for the first input of multiplexer I0, I'm connecting data, which is called as D, and for I1, I'm connecting scan input. Next, for the selection line, I'm connecting scan enable. So be clear with this. This is scan input. This is called as scan enable. And the output of this multiplexer is connected to data pin of the flip-flop. So this is called as flip-flop. And for this particular flip-flop, I'm going for positive edge trigger clock. And output is at Q followed by Q bar. So you can see here, coming to inputs, D is called as functional data input. Scan in is called as scan chain input. And scan en stands for scan enable, which is for the multiplexer selection line. And output is taken at Q pin of the flip-flop. So this is the RTL expression for this particular scan D flip-flop. So whenever scan enable is equal to 1, so let me write it here, whenever scan enable is equal to 1, output will be scan input. And whenever scan enable is equal to 0, output will be D. So whenever this scan en is equal to 1, output will be scan input. If not, output will be E. So it will operate in two modes. One is functional mode, another one is scan mode. So you can see here, whenever this scan enable is equal to 0, this particular I0 will be connected to output. So I'll get output as D. So that's why whenever scan enable is equal to 0, I'm getting output of multiplexer as D. Next, whenever scan enable is equal to 1, this I1 will be connected to output. So here output will be scan input. So let me write it here. Whenever scan enable is equal to 1, I'll be getting output of multiplexer as scan input. So you can see here function mode followed by scan mode. So in functional mode, this D will be connected to output. That will happen only when scan en is equal to 0. So whenever scan enable is equal to 0, output is equal to D, that comes under functional mode. So you can see here, whenever scan enable is equal to 0, I'm getting output as D. And it is normal circuit operation. So this scan in will be connected to output when the scan enable is equal to 1. So the path will be from scan into Q. This is called as shift mode, that is called as scan chain active or else scan chain shift. So whenever scan enable is equal to 0, this D will be connected to output of multiplexer and that will be applied to the D pin of the flip-flop and you'll get output as Q. Next, whenever scan enable is equal to 1, this scan in will be connected to output of multiplexer and that will be connected through D to Q. So that's why whenever scan enable is equal to 0, I'll get path called as D to Q. Whenever it is 1, it will be from scan into Q. Suppose if I0 is getting connected, output will be from D to Q. Suppose if I1 is getting connected, then here I'll be getting scan in. This scan in will be connected to the output. So that's why one path is scan into Q, another one is D to Q. In function mode, it is called as normal circuit operation. In scan mode, it is called as shift mode. Now let us see how to write the constraint of it. So set case analysis in each mode. First one is function mode, next one is scan mode. We tell the STA tool that scan enable is equal to 0. So let me write it here. Whenever scan enable is equal to 0. So let me apply here scan enable is equal to 0. So this I0 will be connected to output D. This D will be given to data flop, which is called as D flip-flop, and this D will be going to the output, that is Q. So set case analysis, the STA tool that scan enable is equal to 0. So that should be written like this: set case analysis 0 for get ports scan enable. So this is how we need to write the constraint. Simply set case analysis followed by 0, where we are applying 0 for get ports scan enable. Let me write the constraint here. Set case analysis, I want to apply 0. Where I want to apply, this is for get ports scan enable. For scan enable, I am writing. If not, you can write it by means of instance name followed by pin name. Means suppose if this is mux, you can write like this also, mux slash selection lane, as I showed you in the first slide, but here it will be get pins. In these two styles, you can write this particular constraint. So here mux output is D, and active path will be from D to Q. So this D will be applied to data flip flop, that is D flip flop, and this D will be going to output Q. So that's why here active timing path will be D to Q. Next, disabled timing arc. So whenever you are applying selection line as 0, this D will be connected to output of multiplexer, and that will be connected to data pin of D flip flop, and that D will be going to the output. Now, what is happening here is this particular scan input to output path will be disabled. You can see here scan in to mux out followed by Q will be disabled. So this scan into mux out followed by the output Q will be disabled. And one more thing, the scan enable to mux out will also be disabled. So meaning the scan path is completely disabled. The tool will only check functional timing, that is setup and hold of D and Q. As D is getting connected to output of multiplexer, that is getting connected to D flip flop, and that is going to output. So only setup and hold will be computed if it is working in functional mode, whereas scan mode is completely disabled. So scan mode means going from scan into output of mux, and from there going to output of flip flop. This is something which is called a scan mode. So that's what I mentioned it in the option called as B. Now let's see. We'll tell the STA tool that scan enable is equal to 1. So let me write it here. Whenever scan enable is equal to 1. So whenever scan enable is equal to 1, this I1 will be connected to output of multiplexer. So here it will be scan in. Now the scan in is applied to data pin of D flip flop, that will be going to the output of flip flop called as Q. So how to write this constraint? So this is written something like this: set case analysis. What I'm applying 1. Where I'm applying at port, so it should be get ports scan enable. If not, you can write like this: simply set case analysis 1. Here take as get pins. We have to give some instance name. This is mux. So write as mux slash selection pin. So like this also we can write. So let me make it clear. This is set case analysis. So in these two styles you can write it out. Now coming to effect, mux output will be scan input. So you can see here mux output is scan in. Why? Because I'm applying selection line is equal to 1. So this particular scan in will be going to the output of mux. Next, active timing path will be from the scan input to D. The scan in is applied to D. We know that in D flip flop, output is same as input. Now let's see about the disabled timing arc. So as here you are applying 1, the scan in is going to output of D flip flop. The path which is present, that is from D to mux output followed by this path, will get disabled. So that's why D to Q is disabled. And one more thing is from the scan enable to mux out is also disabled. So from scan enable to mux out is disabled, meaning the functional path is disabled. So simply here we are working with scan mode. So obviously function mode will get disabled. The tool only analyzes the scan shift timing, usually at low frequency scan clocks. So this is the difference between function mode and scan mode, and this is how we need to write set case analysis. If it is 0, if it is 1. If it is 0, it will work in function mode. If it is 1, it will work in scan mode. So simply 0 means function mode, 1 means scan mode. So you can see here what actually happens inside the timing engine. When set case analysis is applied, the value is propagated into the mux logic, that is constant propagation. Arcs corresponding to inactive inputs are disabled. So whenever you are working on function mode, obviously the scan mode will get disabled. Whenever you are working on scan mode, this particular function mode will get disabled. Paths through those arcs disappear from timing reports. The clock to Q path inside D flip flop is still active, only data cone changes. So coming to the summary, in function mode, it will work when scan enable is equal to 0. The path will be from D to Q, and these two parts will get disabled as we have discussed in the previous slide. And this is used for normal operation timing. Next, coming to the scan mode, so it will work when set case analysis is 1, means simply whenever you are applying scan enable is equal to 1. So the path that will be active is from scan into Q, and the remaining part will get disabled. This is used for scan shift timing. Now let us see how to answer this if it is asked in an interview. In a scan flip flop, the input to the D flip flop comes from 2:1 multiplexer that selects between data D and scan in based on the scan enable pin. When we apply set case analysis is equal to 0, get port scan enable, the tool assumes functional mode. The mux select D and only the D to Q path is timed. When we apply set case analysis 1 on get port scan enable, the tool assumes scan mode. The mux selects scan input and only the scan into Q path is timed. The timing arcs from the unused input and from scan enable itself are disabled. If the interviewer asks why we do that, we do this to perform mode based analysis, that is function based as well as scan based. In function mode, scan logic is inactive, so we disable it to avoid false path. In scan mode, we check the scan shift path, typically with a slower scan clock. This ensures correct analysis for both timing modes without unnecessary violations. If we ask about what about crosstalk, when we set case analysis on scan enable, it becomes a constant, that is no toggling. So during SI, that is signal integrity analysis, scan enable and its dependent cones are excluded, so no crosstalk or coupling analysis happens for the static signal. So this is how you need to answer if it is asked in an interview about set case analysis. Now let us try to understand this set case analysis by using one more example called as example number 2. An alternative approach to handling mode dependent timing path is to use case analysis on the design. So coming to the concept, by assuming a fixed logic value to a control signal, for example BIST mode, the timing engine enables or disables the related timing arcs automatically. So here also I am taking the same 2:1 example. So here mux D1 is called as an instance name. So here this is I0, this is I1. For I0 I am connecting BIST SIG, for I1 I am connecting func SIG, and this is the output. So let me write it here. Suppose if I am applying BIST mode is equal to 0, means when I am applying 0 here, this A2 will be connected to output. So simply A2 will be connected to Z. So at A2, BIST SIG is present, that will be connected to Z. Now next, when I am applying BIST mode is equal to 1, when I am applying BIST mode is equal to 1, this A1 will be connected to output. So simply A1 will be connected to Z. So here A1 is func SIG is connected to Z, and here instance name is mux D1. So this is the functioning of set case analysis. Now for this we need to write the constraint, and for this we need to write the constraint. So you can see here, consider the example. So consider the multiplexer controlled by BIST mode. So here this thing is controlled by BIST mode, which is called as an selection line. So in PrimeTime we need to write like this: set case analysis 1 for BIST mode. So whenever you are applying 1 here, this A1 will be connected to Z. So when BIST mode is equal to 1, the timing arc A2 to Z is disabled. Why? Because whenever you are applying 1, A1 to Z is activated, whereas A2 to Z is deactivated. So that's why timing arc from A2 to Z is disabled. The signal func signal is allowed to propagate through the design. As you are applying 1 here, this particular func signal will be going to the output. Next, coming to BIST mode 0. Whenever you are applying 0 here, this particular A2 will be connected to Z, whereas func sign, which is from A1 to Z, will be disabled. So the timing arc from A1 to Z is disabled. So obviously this will get disabled when you are applying 0, and BIST signal is allowed to propagate. As you are applying 0 here, this BIST signal will be propagated to the output. So let us compare this particular case analysis with set disable timing. So I have already made a video on set disable timing. So please check that video so that you'll be understanding these two differences. So coming to the scope, global affects all logic driven by the signal in case of set case analysis, whereas locally affects specific cell arc. Means if a particular cell is having a timing arc, that is disabled by using this set disable timing. Next, coming to the purpose, used for mode based analysis, that is function mode or else scan mode, whereas this set disable timing is used for disabling individual timing arcs. Within a particular cell, if you want to disable a particular timing arc, you can use that. Suppose if I am going for NAND gate, which is having two inputs called as A and B and output is Y, if you want to disable the arc from B to Y, you can use set disable timing. Next, coming to automation, propagates constant value through logic automatically, whereas it requires manual specification of arcs. And coming to efficiency, a single command can analyze the entire design for the mode. This must be repeated for each and every affected cells. So coming to the final summary, although both set case analysis and set disable timing, they will disable timing arc. Case analysis is superior when a design contains multiple mode dependence. Means whenever it is containing function mode and scan mode, go for set case analysis. It allows you to easily switch between normal and test mode and simplify STA setup using just one command per mode. Whereas set disable timing, on the other hand, is more suitable for isolated arc level control during STA. Means if you want to disable a particular arc within a particular cell, then you have to go for set disable timing. As I told you, if you are considering a particular NAND gate which is having two inputs A and B and output is Y, if you want to disable the timing arc from B to Y, go for set disable timing. If you want to go for set case analysis, it should be used depending upon func mode followed by scan mode, that is function mode and scan mode. So this is the primary difference between set case analysis and set disable timing. So that's all for this particular video. In this video, we have understood what is meant by set case analysis, and we have seen two different examples in order to understand how to write the constraint for set case analysis, and we have seen the differences between set case analysis followed by set disable timing. So that's all for this video. Thank you.